Hi everyone, Caitlin here with Kate's Collectibles and a brand new video at last. I am here today reviewing my Sailor Pluto Figuarts figure. So I got Pluto sort of through, I guess, an odd series of events. Mainly, I usually try to do the pre-orders if I can for these things. I didn't get the opportunity. Similarly, ended up getting her for a really crazy good price on Canadian Amazon. So I continue to recommend that if you're not doing the pre-orders on sites like Ami Ami or Big Bad Toy Store or any of those places where, some of them are the Bandai exclusive, so then you have to do the order through them. I really recommend checking out Amazon later on, and especially around the times that they're having big sales, because they tend to be clearing these figures out at periods of time. I know I've seen Sailor V on there a fair bit. And I've also seen the Zoisite Moon figure, neither of which am I planning to get at this point in time, but in case you're looking, they've had some pretty decent prices on there at different times. So Pluto's still in her box here, and as you can see, it's right in line with all the other boxes. So we've got the window display, her name down the side here. She's got sort of a black and purple theme, which I think works pretty well. Down at the bottom, we've got the standard logos, the sticker of authenticity, the Sailor Moon 20th logo as well. So make sure, again, you're looking for those when you're trying to avoid bootlegs. Honestly, like from what I've heard from people, the bootlegs aren't worth it. Now, if you're just going to keep it in the box and display it, yeah, okay, maybe you could get away with that and it might look half decent. Sometimes the paint jobs are really sloppy on the bootlegs, and I've heard that the biggest complaint with them tends to be the joints. So in terms of repositioning them, trying to move things around, they're just not made with the same quality. So something to consider. I'm just going to switch to the other side here. So we've got her sort of in an attacking pose. You can't see her holding her staff, but she should be. One of the things I really loved about Pluto was she was sort of the first soldier they introduced that had this kind of added piece of weaponry, and having it be like a really big version of the time key. At least that's what it always reminded me of. I mean, obviously we learn, more about the orb at the top in the S season. Some of the different facial expressions. I mean, I would certainly say that as a character, Pluto is not exactly known for her expressiveness in her face. She also doesn't get a lot of screen time in the anime. Like, she's in R for a very brief little portion of time, and she's back in S, gone for Super S, just like the rest of the outers, and then back a little bit in Stars. But you never really get to learn much about Pluto. I think they do a much better job of that in the manga. There she is holding the garnet orb. So as you can see, that's an accessory figure. And they've got her doing her dead scream attack over here. Glowing orb not included. So the look of the Pluto box here is really nice, right in line with all the other boxes. And top there, same thing. We've got the figure, the rod, her outline. Interesting choice though, that with the I guess the version of her they've got here, the outline version, they've got the orb off the top of her staff and she's holding it out in her hand, right, to show it. So it, like, from a distance, I wouldn't immediately identify that was going to be Pluto, because the staff is missing the piece on the top, right? Until you look closer and see that it's right there. So, which you might not do, right, from a distance. You might be like, which character is that? So kind of odd that they decided to go that route. Warnings on the bottom, nothing exciting. So let's open her up a little bit here and we'll see. Now she is packaged the same as the others. So we've got the extra piece, cardboard backing. We've got the sort of manual, if you want to call it that. So information on what hands she comes with, how to connect the faces, her bangs come off. Looks like her hair in the back is movable a little bit. The same sort of arm that they've had previously. Now, interesting to note, warning, may rub off. So I suspect that some of the shimmer that they've got on her is what they are saying might rub off. So that's something to keep in mind. I don't remember seeing that on any of the other figures. I like that they've also got a warning here that the edge of her hair is sharp. Okay, you also have to assemble the staff. So I was wondering whether the orb was going to be an additional piece already connected to a hand, or whether it comes off the staff and you put it in her hand, and it looks like there's a special hand for doing that. And it shows you how to hold on. Same thing, warnings about paint rubbing off. Really, like, I don't know. I feel like that shouldn't be, like, for a figure that's designed to be repositioned, right? That's the whole point of these, is they're an action figure line. Now, granted, mostly for display, not for play purposes, but do we really need our figures done with paint that isn't going to hold up? Like, that just seems kind of silly. So we've got the base of her stand, so we've got her logo on it. One of her little feet pieces has already popped out of it, which I had, I think, in one of the other ones too. So you can see, like, there's this little plug and it's out there. I guess that's really all it is a plug. Like, you could reposition where you put things in the stand to make it work a certain way, but it's supposed to go in there pretty firmly. Like, I wouldn't know that you could take them out. Doesn't want to stay. That's kind of interesting. The flat piece that should be over the top here is there. Look at that, a flaw in the design already. So I think the glue has let go on that. So that is something to keep in mind. I'm going to probably have to glue that back into place so that it doesn't move, because the other one certainly doesn't. I'll set it down for now, but it's gonna fall out when I do that. Packaging, same style here. We've got the plastic cover on top, the hand. Oh, her orb is falling away. So staff is mostly assembled already. I'm not sure how I feel about this color for the staff. Like, it's, I don't know, I just always envision it silver, not blue, if that makes sense. Oh, there we go. It doesn't sit very firmly in the top, but it does work. Let me see if I can adjust the focusing on that at all. There we go. Yeah, you can see that kind of blue tone to it. I'd like it more silver, but that's just my thinking. Okay, let's see what else is in here. So we've got Pluto herself. So like usual, they've got some plastic wrapped around, keep the hair held out, and apparently protect it from rubbing. She's got some little pieces here that remind me of water wings. She's a really pretty figure, you guys. Like, everything about Pluto is really, really attractive. Gosh, I don't even know where to start with her. She's, let's see if I can get her to focus in a little bit on the camera. So you can see, if I start sort of up at her face here, great facial expression. This is sort of her, you know, bemused, calm, happy expression. Her eyes, gem earrings, all done nicely. I do like that they gave her the dark green hair and that they did stick with the black for the fuku. The metallic paint that they've used on here is really nice, and like on her bow as well. It's a very understated kind of a color. She is one of the Senshi that does not have any shoulder guards. So it's nice that they were correct to detail. I find that they typically have been in this line. Like, lack of detail has not been an issue. Her bun cap I don't love. I love the way the hair looks. Like, as you can see, it's beautiful. It's nice shading, the green with the dark running through it. Unlike Ray or Minako, they did not make it so that her hair is posable. So I don't know whether with her they decided it was too much hassle because of the way her hair connects at the top, or if they found that it really, wasn't that popular, or whether it wasn't working well. I don't know. Like, her hair is posable. I mean, as you can see, I can move it to one side. I can go to the other side. I can flare it out a little bit. But the bun is feeling like it feels very loosey-goosey up top on her head there. Her whole head actually feels kind of loose. Now, I don't know if I just got a set that, things maybe feel loose on for some reason, but that's the way she's feeling. Her collar, that, like, the choker, love that they've got that there correctly. Her arms are not bad for posability. The elbow joints feel good. They feel nice and firm. Like, if I were to put it somewhere, it's going to stay the way I want it. Bow on the back, skirt, all look good. Legs, nothing special to write home about there. The usual knee joint and black boots for her. Feet are posable, not toes, but feet at the ankles. She's a really nice figure in this regard. Wow, they are not kidding. The edge of her hair, I thought that was funny, but it's really sharp. I just poked myself with it down here. I was like, oh, what was that? That's her hair. It's like legit super sharp, guys. So if you're playing around with her, yeah, be careful. The warning was not ill-informed. Now I should have some other pieces here for her. I hate popping these things out. So the usual arm joint thing for posing her body, easy to assemble. Wiggle that piece in. There's only one spot it goes. Stick it in the base. Oh, hey, my little foot thing did stay put. What do you know? Lift her super dangerous hair up and wrap around. There we go. And then adjust as needed. Now, this is kind of my complaint, I guess, when they have hair like this and this kind of a stand is, unless I put her hair to the side, I can't really get her head upright in posing her, which is fine. Her hair blowing in the wind is kind of nice, but if I want her standing, like, nice and tall, which she should, she's Pluto, she's like the tallest one of all of them, I should be able to find a way to do that doesn't necessitate having to move her hair to the side like she's, oh, there we go, that piece popped out again. Yeah, I shouldn't have to move her hair to the side. That's the whole point. All pieces of stuff coming out of the box. Like, she doesn't always stand like she's in a breeze. I also like it so that my figures look like they're, I don't know, standing fairly upright. Is it just me, or does her knee seem wonky on this one leg, right? Like her knee's kicked out to the side. Anyway, okay, so we've got her, we've got the rod. Extra hands and faces. So we've got, zoom in a little bit here on this. We've got her stern face, if you want to call it that. I don't know, it looks almost the same as the expression she's got on right now. I can't hardly tell the difference. Attack face, and then kind of that, calm face that she has on when she's doing the dead scream attack. Bunch of different hands in the little spinal column. And that bottom hand is the one that has the little plug hole for holding the orb. So if we're going to change anything on her, let's try that. It's funny, Sailor Moon is one of those shows where it's long, it's a lot of episodes, it's a lot of filler, and yet there are still characters that you hardly get to know. Like, you don't get to learn anything about them. You don't really learn if they have anything special about their personality, you know? Like, Pluto's one of those. I wish they had done more with her. Okay, so this is her left hand. Come here, Pluto. We're gonna adjust this on you. Oh, no, wait. It's her right hand. Okay. That would make more sense, I think. So the usual, gently pull at the joint. Ooh. Well, I will say, hand joints, nice and snug on her. No complaints there. Remember, when you're trying to work with these figures, like, they're designed to hold together. So sometimes it's hard to, I'm going to take her off the stand. It's hard to get things to come apart, and it's hard to get things to go back together again. So, you know, gentle but firm, I guess, is probably the best way to describe how to work with them. I feel like I'm complaining a lot about the figure. Maybe I shouldn't, I don't know. Maybe I'll grab one of the hands for holding her rod too here. I don't mean to just endlessly complain about them. I do really love them. I guess I'm more picky as they've gone along. Now, getting this little joint that the hands connect to stay put long enough to push the hand into it is really tough. There we go. Okay, so I've got some new hands on her here. So you can see that hand, that one. So I should, operative word being should, be able to detach the orb, place her palm face up, and push it in. Ooh, that doesn't feel good. Now, definitely be super careful with this orb top, because as I'm trying to place it in her hand, there we go, this top portion, so let's see if I can show you guys. This top portion up here, the whole top piece, as I was pushing, it bends. So if someone were to push too hard, you could very easily snap that piece. So definitely be careful. And this is one of those times I wish her shoulder or elbow had a little more bend to it, but it's not bad. Okay, and then let's put the staff, rod, or whatever you want to call it, in her hand. So we've got these key portions. Now the whole rod does actually rotate, so it does come apart into separate pieces. So that's probably not only droppable, but noteworthy. Now I'm not sure if that's to try and make it so that it's easier for her to hold, or easier for you to be able to get it in, or whether they were thinking that, you know, it was less likely to break if that were the case. There we go. We've got that. We've got these pieces. I'll move aside. I'll put her back on her stand here so we can get a good look at her. I'm gonna see if I can't get the hair to stay behind her with the arm in place. This is the hardest part I find about these figures is, you know, trying to pick a pose you want to put them in, especially if they're going to be out on display, right? Because, you know, if you have multiple figures, well, do you want them all attacking? Do you want them all posing like they do at the end of a transformation? Do you want them ready to fight? Do you want them looking happy, calm, peaceful, relaxed? You know, like how to set them up is, which I guess is half the fun of figures like these. It's why I like them. I was one of those girls that had the Irwin, you know, Barbies that came out that were the ugly face dolls, but loved them, absolutely loved them, way before they had done any of the outers or other characters. It was just like the main 5 characters, and yeah, they were like my favorite thing. But even then you're limited because with the Barbie you've got like one facial expression, you've got, you know, limited number of poses. So something like this, these kind of action figures, oh my gosh, I would have, even though they're a collector's item, so to speak, I mean, I would have played the heck out of these when I was that age to be able to have all these facial expressions and hands and movements. But sometimes it's too much. When you're wanting to play with something like this, you know, if you're constantly changing pieces on them, it kind of takes you out of the fun at the moment. It's a lot more fun to set them up in some kind of a scene, a pose, what have you. Get a really cool background for them maybe, and then, you know, go from there with them. Now, I think Pluto overall here is a really nice figure. I don't think they innovated anything with this figure. I think they were very smart about doing the one hand where she can hold the orb out like that. I think that's a great idea. I wish they had done more with her hair in terms of some kind of posability, just like Mars and Venus had had. I mean, was it dramatic? No, it wasn't super dramatic, but it would have been nice to be able to flare her hair out a little bit. I mean, you can even see in the design of it here that it looks like it could be the 3 pieces like the other ones are, where you could flare it out just a little bit bigger. Her hair is legitimately dangerously sharp, so keep your eye out for that when you're posing her. It seemed super silly, but it's true. I wish the staff had been more of a silver color and less of this bluish purple color. I just think it would have gone better with the character and the way I tend to envision her. I can kind of see why they would want to do her like this, and why they would do the staff like that, especially for the color look. Otherwise, maybe it's a little monochromatic. However, the Pluto figure is really very beautiful. I think that she's a nice addition. She's definitely different than the other outer soldiers. She and Saturn, especially side by side, holding their, you know, staff and glaive and all that, would be really nice display wise. So if you're collecting the Figuarts figures, or you just really love Sailor Pluto, she's a super nice figure to have. We don't get enough merchandise of her, especially, so any opportunity to get something like this I find pretty appealing. If you aren't a big fan of the Figuarts line, or you're, you know, waiting for, I don't know, some other character that you like more, I think with time, much like the other figures, her price is going to come down. She was a bit more limited figure to get a hold of. I can't quite recall if initially she was supposed to be a premium Bandai exclusive with ordering, I think, which may have been the reason I didn't order her right away. And then she became available other places later on. So she is out there. You can definitely find them. Same thing, I always say, if you're not sure about the line, or you're not sure how much you want to spend and you can't find a decent enough price, same thing, watch the secondary markets, watch the buy and sells, join the Sailor Moon Facebook groups, or wherever you'll be able to keep track. Check your local Kijiji. Like, take a look around, don't waste your money on the bootleg figure. They're just not done up nice enough. One of these days, I should actually try and get my hands on one of the bootleg figures and compare it to one of the legit figures that I have, because I think that would be a really interesting, kind of eye-opening experience. But I just have a hard time justifying spending the money on the bootleg, right? So something to consider. Keep your eye out. Make sure that when you're looking to buy, if you're buying from someone online, check for those signs of authenticity before you assume that you're going to get a legit figure. So I hope you enjoyed my video. If you have the Sailor Pluto figure, let me know how you feel about her in the comments below. Remember to like and share this video with your friends. And if you want to see more of my collectible videos, make sure you subscribe to my channel to get updates when they're posted, okay? Thanks!